Hobbit. We just saw it. Here's a review. Start with Tom. What'd you think, brother?
Did you like it?
I liked it. It was awesome. It fulfilled all my expectations in a good way, I guess.
That's awesome.
Is there anything you didn't like?
I don't know. It was kind of like off track from the book a little bit, but then like some of the stuff with the, like what Ian said, like the sword, it's not supposed to be and stuff like that. But overall, it was good. Definitely not used to standing, but it was good.
He's talking about a continuity issue I saw in the movie where the sword was one place and then in a continuation of the scene turned out to be in another place, and I was just surprised that Peter Jackson would miss something like that. Anyway.
I didn't think it was a continuity.
It doesn't really matter. It was all good.
Doesn't matter. Okay. And what would you rate it out of 100?
Out of 100?
Yeah.
Out of 100. Like if you were giving it a grade in school.
97.
Awesome. All right.
Okay, 97. Jack, you want to go?
I absolutely love this movie. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love this movie almost as much as I loved Avengers, which is my favorite movie of all time. It is a flawless film. I have no complaints. Okay, I do have one. IMAX. Your 3D glasses cut into my nose all the time. Every time I watch a movie with IMAX 3D glasses. See this red mark on my nose? I just want to say. That's my big
I want to go back to Tom. What did you think of the high frame rate? Did you notice it?
No, I think I kind of noticed it. I think it was better than regular 3D.
Oh,
I
visual
think
quality
every
was
movie
really
should be
awesome.
shot like that.
Right.
I would want to see the Avengers like that too.
Yeah, me too.
It'd be good.
But you really have to make changes because that's a lot more detail.
Yeah.
You can't. I don't think you can convert it to high frame rate.
So, do you want to say anything about this movie other than what you said? You want to?
I love the high frame rate. I love the 3D. I thought the IMAX was fantastic. Canberra person has changed her. At any rate, I absolutely love the film, and I thought the acting was exquisite. Martin Freeman, very funny. Richard Armitage really brought gravitas to the role. Ian McKellen is Gandalf. As much as he's anybody, he's Gandalf, and it's just he really does a good job of conveying this is the guy we met at the beginning of Lord of the Rings. He is very much, and great callbacks to Lord of the Rings, which is odd considering this takes place before, but it really does a lot of very neat things. And Gollum's in the movie. It's no spoiler. He's all over the previews. It is the best digital character I've ever seen. 100 out of 100. The second best movie of the year after Avengers. That's my review.
Okay, let's come back to reality here. 97 and 100. Let's come back to reality. So, visually, I'll start with what I really like. So visually, the best movie I've ever seen, ever. The high frame rate.
That is immense
better than
praise.
Avatar. It was Avatar. It was better than Avatar visually for me, and I'll tell you why. The reason why is the reality of the CG of the actual monster CG. I've never seen anything that good before. With the high frame rate, it adds this added dimension of reality. Now, also, it also impacts the CG. Like CG has to get better because you could pick it up easier. And that being said, it's blended beautifully with Peter Jackson. This film, it's some of the best CG I've ever seen, ever. That being said, now let's go to a couple issues. So, the story, for much of the movie, I feel like, when are we going to get started? And then I realized, oh, it started. But it has the feel of when are we going to get started, which is a problem for me. I'm like, all right, let's get on with it, and we're on with it. While the feeling of let's get on with it. So all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, finally, they're moving along here. Parts of this dialogue I thought were bad, like awful. Like, you know, at one point they mentioned golf in this movie, and I'm like, that's weird to him, and that they mentioned golf.
It's Tolkien.
It's weird. Tolkien, I don't care if it's Tolkien or not.
Tolkien's words.
It just set me out of this movie. Then the other thing is like the dialogue and the plot and the choices are very like, you know, young. Like it's like meant for a young audience. but the violence and the graphic nature of the combat is meant for an older audience. So there's a fight scene early in the movie that's probably one of the greatest things I've ever seen in a movie ever, period. But as you go into the final stretch of this big thing with all these orcs and everything, it started to feel a little bit like video game-ish to me. Like, not that, you know, some people might like that, but it was like, all right, we got to beat this stage to get to the big boss, and then we beat the big boss, and then we move on. Now, it ended up not happening like that, but that's what I felt like. And so they're doing all these crazy moves and stuff like that, and I know it's a fantasy world, but at the same time, I think if they would have pulled it back and kept it a little bit realer, it would have made for a better thing, because one of the things that was so stark was the CG that was so real. The acting was well done. You fall in love with the lead, Bilbo. He's great. You're laughing. Everything. You know, that was good. So overall, I'm going to give this movie a 90, and mostly it's a 90 because of the visual effects. If you want to see these visual effects, see it.
In IMAX high frame rate.
You
right?
must see it in IMAX and high frame rate. And by the way, from now on, movies will be in high frame rate. I said it here. Believe it. Just like I said when I saw Avatar, all the movies will be in 3D following this movie.
By the way, isn't this a better movie than Avatar?
Not a better movie than Avatar. Better visuals.
Unbelievable.
Better visuals.
You talk about bad dialogue. Bad dialogue in
Golf, Jack?
It's Tolkien.
What about the era in with the sword on the rock? The sword's on the rock, and then it's in the sheath, and they're picking them up.
That almost ruined it for me a little bit. I noticed that, and I was like...
You noticed it too. See, it's noticeable. I cannot believe Peter Jackson.
Everything surrounding that just makes it amazing.
It works. Right. It was fine. I don't know why.
The other thing is, like, Gandalf comes in and blows down the house, and then they gotta run. Why not blow down the house again?
Because he's got only so many times in that trick, and
he
just startled them.
The other thing is, he blows to the butterfly. They come with all these eagles. Then they drop them like hundreds of miles away from this mountain. Like, why not fly me right to the damn mountain?
Now you're getting into one of the essential criticisms of the end of Lord of the Rings, whereas why did the giant eagles just pick up Bilbo and drop him at Mount Doom? Because that's what they do at the end of the movie. By the way,
so that's how it goes in the book.
Yeah, true, but it's just one of those things.
All right,
it's based.
That being said, look, I'm in.
That's Tolkien's choices.
Pete Jackson, I'm in. All right, and I can't wait.
I still can't believe you think this is worse than Avatar.
Every movie, every major movie will be high frame rate. It's coming. Oh, by the way, Superman trailer looks amazing.
Star Trek trailer.
Star Trek 9 minutes looks amazing. You must see this in IMAX.
You see the first 10 minutes. If you go see this movie in IMAX, you will see the first
Well, you'll see 10 minutes.
10
minutes.
It looks like the first. I don't know.
It goes for like a long sequence into a trailer type sequence, but it's amazing. We're seeing. Get here early, see it.
That Star Trek.
By the way, there's nothing at the end of this film, so there's no little teaser for the next one. So they give you a teaser. Before the end of the credits, nothing at the end of the credits. So I give it a 90. You know, that's pretty much the high grade. Mine is because of the historic nature of the film, given that all major releases will be in high frame rate going forward within 2 years. All right. See it if you want to see it.
Peace.